to my real weight loss journey. I'm Richard Greenland, and this is my second update. I've been at this for 2 weeks now, and so we'll see what my progress has been. Instead of keeping it in suspense like I did last time, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it all out there right now. As you can see, I've got a graph up here. This is from the MyFitnessPal app, where I'm keeping track of my weight. And at the beginning of the week, after I'd done that update, my weight went up a little bit. No big deal. It only went up a little bit. I think it was mostly because I had a couple nights where I didn't sleep really well, and that can definitely affect your weight loss and everything. That's the only thing I can really think of that probably caused that. But then it started going down again. Definitely didn't get as good as the prior week. The prior week was amazing. This week I went from 292.4 down to 290.6. At one point I was at 290.4, so that would have been a full 2 pounds for the week. In fact, that was yesterday, but then this morning when I weighed myself, I'd gone up another 0.2 pounds. And the reason for that is last night we decided as a family to have pizza, and that's one of my weaknesses. I did try to be a little healthier with it. I had a cauliflower crust pizza. I bought some in the past just to have them in the freezer, a bunch of different types because I like trying new ones just to test out which is better. I might make a video about some of these some other time. But anyways, I don't typically like cauliflower crust pizza, but the one that I had last night was actually pretty good. And so I ended up finishing the whole pizza, which was a small pizza, but that's still not good. Even with a cauliflower crust, it's still too many calories. So I'm actually surprised that I only went up 0.2 pounds. I think part of that is because I actually did get a lot of steps in yesterday also. I was walking around all over the place, and so I think that helped. So anyways, I'm at 290.6 now. I'm trying to get back on track, not eating entire pizzas anymore. So we'll see how I do the following week. But for now, let's go ahead and just go over the rules really quick and see how well I did on those rules. So the first rule is focus on whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. This one hasn't been all that difficult for me. There have been a few meals where I've had, like, say, just rice, like white rice, and then fish or something like that. So not so much on the whole grains or the vegetables or anything, but those are pretty rare, actually. That's something that my family, we actually enjoy rice a lot. And so we do that quite often, usually. But lately we've been trying to avoid doing that too much. And even if the others have that, I try to get more vegetables in. So most of my meals have actually had quite a few vegetables. I've focused on eating more fruits. For breakfast, actually, a few times I've had a whole wheat tortilla that wraps up. It's a mixture of sweet potatoes, avocado, and black beans, and also some fake chicken. It's like vegan chicken or something that I really like the taste of. That's why I buy it. And so I think it could actually go without the chicken and be just fine. But anyways, I use that, and that has a lot of fiber in it, a lot of protein, and so that also increases my vegetable intake too. I've had that a few times this past week, and I really enjoy that. So I think I'm doing pretty good on that first rule. Second rule, limit meat. Limiting meat, this past week, I did do a pretty good job of limiting it. I did have chicken a couple times. Did have some beef, actually. We bought a shepherd's pie from Costco just because we were in a hurry and we wanted to have something quick and easy to make. With that one, you just throw it in the oven and let it bake, and then you eat it. So I did have meat there. Other than that, though, I didn't eat that much meat this week, so I think I did okay on that one. Like I said, I've been practicing that for a few months beforehand, too, just limiting my meat, and so it's not a real big deal for me to limit meat. Like, I'll typically have meat maybe 3 or 4 times a week, if that. I mean, that's like a really meat intensive week for me. And so for the most part, I don't eat that much meat. So not a big deal with that. Stay away from highly processed foods is the next one. This one, I think I did a pretty good job thinking back on this week. There really weren't that many processed foods that I ate. The most processed stuff I really ate was probably that vegan chicken that I put in to my morning like burrito. But even that, I mean, it's not that processed considering uh, that it's basically just soy stuff, which I guess is processed, but I don't know. I'm still kind of deciding on how processed a lot of these vegan substitute type things are, and we'll see. Most of those don't have a ton of the, or any really, of the really bad processed additives like the high fructose corn syrup or other things like that. They're mostly the processing that they go through is stuff that here in the US we kind of consider it processing, but in Asian countries they just consider that normal because they are used to eating all sorts of soy and other things like that. The wheat gluten and all that we just aren't used to having here in the United States as much, and it's mostly just reserved for these health products that are fake meat basically. And so I don't really consider it that processed. That does depend on each individual thing though, because there are some of those vegan alternative things that really do have a lot of processed stuff in them, but I try to avoid those. So I think I'm doing pretty good with avoiding the highly processed foods. The next one is don't eat or drink too much sugar. This one I was doing really well on, like really super well. Like I was avoiding it really, really well, having almost no added sugar at all until last night with the pizza thing. The pizza thing, I don't know if the pizza had any added sugar. It probably did a little bit, but the main thing with that is that I also had some of the Martinelli's. I had quite a bit of the Martinelli's. It's that non-alcoholic sparkling apple juice stuff. And there's also a sparkling grape, and that sparkling grape is one I really like, though the apple one's good too. But yeah, that's got quite a bit of sugar in it, and even though technically it is pure juice with the carbonated water added to it, and it's not it's not considered added sugar on the nutrition label. Nutritionists consider juice, even 100% juice, to all the sugar in there to be added sugar because it does not have the fiber that you would get from the actual fruit. So from that viewpoint, I got a lot of added sugar last night. Definitely not something I do normally, but that was just last night. Not a very good night last night nutrition wise. But other than that, this whole entire week I've been doing really well avoiding that. So hopefully I can keep up with most of the week instead of last night. Good thing that individual days, even though they matter a little bit in the big scheme of things, they don't matter that much. It's really what you consistently do that matters. So I think I'm doing okay on that one. Eat a lot of fiber. That means whole grains and vegetables. I've got lots of whole grains. I've got lots of vegetables that I'm eating. I'm also doing, I guess if you saw the tip video that I put out a couple days ago, I've been eating for breakfast, some of the breakfasts anyways. I've been having the Fiber One cereal mixed with the Oikos Triple Zero Greek yogurt. That gives me 21 grams of fiber right there in just the one meal. And that's even if I don't add anything else to it. And so that's a lot of fiber. That breakfast burrito thing with the avocado and the sweet potatoes and beans and all that also gives me a lot of fiber. So my breakfasts have especially been very full on fiber. Other meals have been pretty good with fiber too. Not as much as my breakfast, though. My breakfasts are always full of fiber. I kind of focus on that. So doing amazing on that, actually. That's probably the thing I'm doing the best on is eating fiber. Get enough protein, but mostly from plant sources. I've been doing pretty well on this. I do try to get quite a bit of protein. The plant sources part of it, yes and no, because a lot of the protein I've gotten the last week was from the yogurt, and that yogurt is not a plant source. That's dairy. It's an animal source. Not really. I don't really feel bad about that though. It's good protein, even though it's I guess it's 15 grams of protein there from that dairy source. Um, Compared to how much I'm taking every day, that's a small percentage actually. Most of it really is the from plant sources since I don't eat that much meat. Though when I do eat meat, that always jumps up the protein amount quite a bit since meat, animal sources tend to have a lot of protein. All right, so next one I added in here since I hadn't really gotten the calories in there before as an actual rule when I started this, but I did talk quite a bit about calories this past the last update. I decided to add that as a rule. So the calories, I've been trying to stay between 1,800 to 2,000 calories. I've been using MyFitnessPal as a way of keeping track of that. But like I said, I haven't been super strict on it. I haven't been, stressing about whether I'm getting the right, the exact right thing that I'm entering in. As long as it's something close and I think that it was reasonable, I put it in. So as far as the calories go, um, I've been doing well. I'm mostly keeping it under the 2,000. Last night, of course, was an exception. Last night was really an exception to everything on this. But if we take out last night from the equation, I've been doing really well. I've been keeping my calories right around that amount. Um, and you can see that from my weight loss. I lost about 2 pounds. And so, about 2 pounds means that I've been keeping up just right about where MyFitnessPal says, since I set it to give me the amount of calories I would need to lose 2 pounds a week. So yeah, I'm right about where I need to be as far as calories go. So hopefully I can keep that up there. Next is drink plenty of water. Like I mentioned in the last update, I want to keep track of how much I'm drinking, how much water I'm drinking through the app, because MyFitnessPal does have that as an option. I started doing that and I just haven't gotten into the habit yet. And so I've been forgetting to add it. And so I'm sure that I am actually drinking more water. I just haven't been keeping track of it well enough to be 100% sure. And so, I just need to get into the habit. So I'll just keep trying to use that. I might try and find a separate app maybe that, that'll give me reminders, because I'm pretty sure MyFitnessPal doesn't give reminders for entering that. I'll have to take a look at the settings to see, but if it doesn't, then I'll just maybe find a different app or something to remind me, or maybe I'll just, not even use an app specifically for water. Maybe I'll just set an alarm on my phone or something that goes off, every so often and says, hey, drink water, drink water, drink water. And, if I'd have that, then hopefully I'll remember to actually put it into my app too. So definitely could do better on that, though I'm doing better than last week, I think. Okay, next one is sleep at least 7 hours each night. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't do as well with sleeping the first couple days, I guess, of this past week, and that's where where the graph kind of went up, and I gained a little bit of weight before dropping down again. After that, though, I did much better. I did get the 7 hours of sleep each night after that point. And it showed by, I started losing the weight again. So I think that's something for me, at least, and this might not be the case for everyone, but for me, that seems to be a pretty important thing for me, is to just get that sleep. If I get sufficient sleep, then my body tends to handle the calories better. Even going over, like last night was so bad, I think I went over my calorie limit by like 1,000 calories. That's huge. That's like 1.5 times what I'm supposed to be eating. The calorie amount that I had last night was about 1.5 times what I'm supposed to have. So that's a huge amount, and yet I only went up 0.2 pounds. And yes, some of that's from the extra steps that I took, but I think a lot of that is because I actually got a good amount of sleep too. So we'll see. It's hard to tell, but I think that has a lot to do with it. So the last one here is the exercise. Like I said, I'm not planning on exercising for the first few weeks. This past week, though, I did increase my steps. I did much better this week in increasing my steps than the week before. There's definitely still room for improvement. And yesterday was actually a really good day for steps, even though the calories were terrible for yesterday. And And so hopefully I can keep that up and increase my steps even more every day. I am starting to think about different exercises I can do. Um, Walking outside or jogging outside or anything like that is not a possibility right now. There's just too much snow and ice. I would probably kill myself trying to run out there, or at least injure myself seriously if I slipped and everything. So that's definitely not going to happen. I could definitely do some aerobics. I can just turn on YouTube and pull up different aerobic things on there. Um, I do have a machine that is it basically uses your own weight to lift you up. And it's got pulleys and stuff like that. So I could use that for like weight training. It's a little hard to get to. We got it kind of stored in our garage, so I'll have to find a place to actually put that where I can access it. So I'm not sure how close I am to doing that. The other option is I could just do just stuff with my own body weight, for example, trying to do, say, push-ups and things like that. Right now, I'm nowhere near being able to do an actual push-up by myself. I'm just too heavy. What I can do is I can lean up against a wall at an angle and do a push-up that way. So I can start with that until I get, drop some of the weight, build up my arm and chest strength, and then work my way to true push-ups. But same thing with other exercises like that I've been thinking of possibly doing. One thing with me is I do love technology and video games and everything like that. And so one thing I've thought of is possibly getting the Ring Adventure for the Nintendo Switch, Ring Fit Adventure. Not sure if I want to pay $70 right now for that. We'll see. If I do decide to go that way, I'll let you know. But for now, I think I'll just be trying to do some exercises on my own. Most likely, I'll be starting to do the YouTube aerobic stuff first, the cardio stuff. That's probably where I'll start out before doing anything else, just because that's more of a low impact thing, so my body can kind of get used to it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to start that this coming week or maybe the next week after that. But I am starting to feel like I have more energy, like I mentioned last update. So with that extra energy, I'm starting to get a little more excited about exercise, which is weird for me because I hate exercise. I'm one of the people that says, if you're running, you better be running from something because there's no other reason to run. Running for fun? Yeah, right. No way. I hate running, and yeah, it's not going to happen unless my mind changes quite a bit. I'm going to have a major attitude change for that to happen. So I'm going to start off, a little bit easier, make sure I don't injure myself or anything like that, because I've had that happen in the past. I've tried, forcing myself to do what I thought I should be doing, which was way too much. And so I'm not going to do that. Also, this past week, I had the opportunity to read an article about exercising, and the author of the article said, when it comes to exercising, frequency is more important than duration, which is more important than intensity. That's for those starting out, at least. Basically, what that means is, frequency is the most important. That means if you're only exercising, if you're not exercising at all, you need to start exercising, even if it's just a little bit. If you're only doing it once or twice a week, up it to 3 or 4 times a week. Get all the way up to 5 or 6 times a week. That's ideal right there. Once you've got to the point where you're 5 or 6 times a week, then you start focusing on duration. So if you're only able to exercise for like 5 to 10 minutes at first, do that up to 5 or 6 times a week. Once you get that point, then you can start changing it so it's more like 10, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and keep doing that 5 or 6 times a week. And once you're up enough with that and you've got the longer duration, that's when you start focusing on intensity and start making your workouts harder to do. So your body has to work harder at it. So I really like that. And I think that's what I'm going to kind of focus on here. So I'll start off quite a bit easier, like I'm doing right now. I've got my steps going. And so that's super easy, even though I'm not doing as well as I could, even though I'm doing better. But, well, it's baby steps. We'll get there. But yeah, eventually I'll be working on just doing the cardio from the YouTube and work my way up from there. So hopefully this keeps working for me. This week was a lot less of a weight loss than the first week. I was expecting that though, so no big deal. I just need to keep going on it. Thank you for everyone that's left comments encouraging me. I hope I can also motivate everyone that's watching. And I hope everyone will continue to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the other videos that I'm putting up. I've only put one other video besides the updates up so far, but I'm planning to do quite a few more of those. So I hope you enjoy it all, and keep watching. You have a great day.